We have an amazing lineup for you today, and to kick things off, we've got Jack Tang, co-founder and chief executive of Urban. Today, he's going to be talking about how beauty businesses can embrace technology to adapt their business model during this difficult time. Just to let you guys all know, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties with the system at the moment, so the image may be a little bit pixelated, but the sound quality should be good. Obviously, if we have any trouble during the session, Jack and I will turn our cameras off and we'll just do it via sound, as that seems to be working quite well. But thank you, Jack, for coming. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not bad, thank you. We really appreciate you taking the time out to do this webinar with us. So I'll just kick things off and just ask, could you tell us how coronavirus has impacted your at-home wellness services platform, Urban, and the ways in which you are trying to overcome this struggle?
Yeah, so Urban, we work with thousands of self-employed professionals across the UK and France, and of course, like these self-employed professionals are using our platform to run their business. And obviously, by suspending the platform meant that a lot of them wouldn't be able to continue operating their business, and equally for us as a platform, we're not able to then continue to make revenues. So obviously, suspending the platform has had severe consequences, both for Urban as a platform, but also for the practitioners that are reliant on us as well.
Yeah, it's really tough. I think a lot of beauty businesses across the UK are really feeling it at the moment. I know that you've sort of let us know that you've got the launch of a digital wellness pop-up. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
So, as a tech company, we've been sort of kind of thinking for ways in which that we can adapt our business model and adapt the platform itself to continue the business and have a continuity during the coronavirus period. And with that, one of the concepts that we came up with was to launch a digital live streaming service where we're enabled to still continue to service our customers, as well as enabling the self-employed professionals to continue to offer their services, but moving that experience and moving that engagement to a completely digital experience. So as a customer, you can continue to go to Urban and book your favorite practitioner for a consultation or for a live yoga or fitness class on a one-to-one basis with that self-employed professional.
And, have you experienced any challenges hosting these one-to-one kind of virtual sessions, like, in terms of the logistics of setting it up and performing them online?
To be honest, I think most services you can do it remotely, and through the whole current experience, it's really forced us to kind of dip our toes and actually jump in the deep end on delivering digital services. I mean, there are a whole host of challenges, including Wi-Fi issues that we're experiencing today, all the way to sort of space issue and how you kind of make your space adapted for a digital experience. There are other things, in terms of there are a lot of off-the-shelf software that's available to do online classes, which is fantastic, and a lot of businesses are able to access this with very little cost, and which is fantastic. However, it comes with its challenges around audio quality and trying to adapt the environment for this. The core of the Urban platform has been massage, and so obviously massage is a very tricky part that we're trying to find parallel ways in which massage therapists and manual therapy therapists are able to adapt to a digital enabled environment as well.
You mentioned as well those off-the-shelf kind of software. Is there any that you'd particularly recommend to beauty salons who are trying to take some of their services online?
Yeah, I mean, we've been thinking a lot about this, and at Urban, we have thousands of beauticians that have built their own business on the platform, whether they are sort of a skin therapist or a nail tech or a makeup artist. And what we've been seeing is that there's definitely a lot of software out there, and I think Zoom is probably one that's been sort of widely mentioned at the moment. because of its affordability, and then the sort of this reliability of the streaming capabilities. But what we've seen is that a lot of the beauticians have adapted, and especially the skin therapists and dermatologists, they've moved on to like offering skin consultations and offering ongoing sort of skin routines of type offering, and that tying into a sort of a retail sales, and so that works really well. We've also seen some makeup artists and nail techs have offered sort of makeup tutorials on a one-to-one basis, and really kind of offering a much more of a training and educational type offering and a service than a traditional sort of makeup session or having your nails done.
And obviously with the one-to-one kind of personal training, the yoga and the meditation sessions, are there any regulations that you had to adhere to if you're performing them at home, or are there kind of any best practice that people should be aware of?
Yeah, so I mean, definitely always check your insurance company and then the policy that you have with them. We checked with our insurers, and for the platform policy, we're fully covered, and as well as the individual practitioners we work with also have sufficient coverage. I think given the circumstances as well, the insurers are pretty sort of flexible and also understanding with this. So definitely, I recommend speaking with them first. But in terms of best practice, I would say that just imagine in terms of your sort of environment is going to be number one and most important. Making sure that you're utilizing the space as effectively as possible, making sure there is good lighting, there is no shadows, and I think those are the key things of making sure that the experience is really top quality. To also having a Bluetooth headset, for example. Especially if a yoga or a fitness instructor, you're moving around, having a Bluetooth headset ensures high quality, audio, and equally your customers can then hear you, well, and that which will be, sort of the important sort of detail point about the overall experience that you deliver.
And how have clients been responding to your new service, and how are you getting the word out about it? Like, what's the best way to promote and advertise these digital services?
So, I mean, we spent 6 years in building a really sort of sizable community. So across UK and France, we have, over 400,000 user members that are signed up to the Urban platform. We, for the launch as well, we've attracted a lot of press about the pivot that we did for the coronavirus period, and also the challenges and very similar things that we're talking about today. But with that as well, and with the launch, we have also one of the things that we've been doing since 2014 and continue to do today during these uncertain times is that we're continuing to support businesses. We've been supporting individual self-employed practitioners, and with our digital offering, we've been extending that relationship and support to also brick and mortar businesses who have been impacted. So salon owners and studios, fitness studios, yoga studios who have been impacted. We've been offering our technology solutions as a way to help them to also go online, to help them to also be able to continue their services to their customers and keep them engaged. I think a lot of the stuff that we're doing today, digital delivered services are great. You are instantaneously global, and you're able to service a customer base that may not have been possible in the past. But with digital, we're able to service a much wider audience anywhere around the world, which is really, really interesting. And so we launched a product designed for mid to enterprise companies that are looking to offer digital services, and through this new product and relationship, we're able to get businesses online very quickly as well.
It's amazing that you're supporting some other businesses as well. I think it's such a close-knit community, and the beauty spa wellness community, and it's nice that we can all support each other. Obviously, you've created a really great model based on digital services. How can other beauty salons and spas learn from what you've done and apply some of that in their own business to make sure that they're still having revenue come in during this quite difficult time?
I think, it really, you need to think about how it adapts to your audience and your customer base. And so, I think a lot of us are purely, have been delivering sort of physical services in the salon, in the brick and mortar environment. And so really it's about understanding and communicating with customers to say, look, we're all having a very sort of challenging time at the moment. And, we're looking at ways and ideas in which that we can continue to support you as our customers, as our community. And that's the approach that we've taken, is that we went out to our customers and said, how can we continue to support you? What are the potential challenges and needs that you would have during isolation? And we came up with, different sort of need states. So we thought our customers would need to find way to balance themselves, right? So when working from home, it comes with a whole host of challenges around the blurred boundary between work and life. How do we use wellness or beauty to really break that down? And so really understanding the use cases. It may be the case that some of your customers might want to become, really enhance their skills in makeup, in beauty, and whatever that might be. And so really thinking about how can you support your customers during these times and make them feel connected, so that when we're at the other side of this, which is the focus here, is that when we come out of this coronavirus period, that how do we rebound as a business? Because I think that's going to be for me, the biggest concern at the moment is that, when we come out of the whole period, what is the world that we're going to be entering? It's going to be a completely different world when we come out of this. I think, a lot of consumers will still take time to recover their consumer confidence. They may be a lot more conscious about, germs and being in the public and being in crowded places. And so really it's about how do you adapt your business today, and how do you stay connected with customers today, so that when you're rebounding from this period, you're in a really good position. So understanding those needs today and understanding what that will look like in the future. That's how we aligned our business and the sort of pivot for our business to ensure that we can continue to sustain and to support our customers. Just to give you some sort of case study as well, we launched our digital services about 2 weeks ago now. We've had a handful of customers already on their 10th plus booking of live sessions on the Urban platform, and so really kind of nailing that need and understanding a customer's needs really well, you can then help them to build new routines, and therefore they're sticking with you today and in the future as well.
You made a really good point as well about how when this is over, the world we're going into will be very different, and consumer spending habits will probably be very different. So do beauty businesses need to start working on their game plan now for how they will pick their business back up when this is all over? And what should that plan entail?
I think it's, it's all good and well to kind of sit here and say, let's work on what's going to happen when we get out of this, and we don't know when that goal, when that's going to end, and where that goal, that sort of like the finishing line is, right? But I think it's, and also of course we still have very much today the challenges of how do I pay my various certain bills, like my staff and everything, and I completely emphasize with everyone, and including ourselves. We have over 100 employees in our head office, and we cater for thousands of practitioners who are reliant on the platform. And it's really, really difficult, and for me as well, with a very strong leadership team, it's been very, very challenging for us as a business. But I think it's really important to start thinking, really kind of calm and kind of create some headspace for yourself and say, okay, how do I manage today, but also how once this is over, and imagine that we're passing the peak, and where the new cases is plateauing. It's not accelerating in terms of that. I think that's important to monitor, and we have been building a ritual as an executive team to on a daily basis check in with the news, check in with what's happening, because then that's an indication for us to then start really being heads down and start planning the way out of this. And when we come out of this, we have to make some assumptions. Right? So some of the things around consumer confidence will be very important. I think the other thing is that the practitioner community who are largely self-employed and largely are small, medium-sized businesses, we heavily impacted. And so, what would that landscape look like? What would the unemployment rate look like? These are the harsh realities that we are facing. And so these are the things that we need to plan and to really stay afloat and be ahead of the game amongst the competition. You need to start planning planning this and that game plan for when we come out. And that can change, right? Because timings will change, circumstances will change, the government support will change. And but then having an idea and having that vision of how you will get out of this is going to be the most important.
And what are you doing to keep yourself mentally and physically healthy during this stressful time? And do you have any mental well-being tips for other beauty business owners?
So firstly, I personally live in central London, but I've sort of took myself out of that situation, and I'm staying with family at the moment. So I think if you're able to get out of the city, do that, and that will help at least give you some more breathing space and a bit more space to walk around. And I think that'll be the environment piece for me was the number one most important factor. And then the second is going to be about building rituals and also boundaries. So the rituals, every day, although your commute to your workstation is probably 5-10 meters away. It's important to even still get up, get changed into your work clothes. So you kind of physically and psychologically remove yourself from that sort of lounge wear type scenario, and so you're kind of creating that psychological boundary that you're in work mode. And then beyond that, what I've done is that taking regular breaks, because when you're in front of a laptop or you're talking to your clients through consultations, it's so it's tempting to just stay there and not go for a walk that you normally do, go for a coffee break, go for just a quick chit chat. Those things don't exist anymore because you're at home. But trying to create some sort of routine, I've encouraged my team to go for an afternoon run, if they can, and go out and go for a jog, whatever that might be, just to break up the day. It'll be very, very important. And then finish your work at the same time you normally finish. Again, I've encouraged my team to log offline, because a lot of them are working late, and I said, look guys, you have to, this is a marathon, it's not a sprint, and it can last a bit longer than we think. And so your health and your physical and mental well-being is important, and so maintain that. And then finally, we practice what we preach, and so we've created a whole host of digital and virtual workshops for our team. So if you're a salon owner and some sort of routines, whether it's breathing exercises, meditation, yoga, fitness, whatever that might be, post something for your teams if you can, or dial into a session. We offer them as well, but if you can host them yourselves, that's fantastic. Do it as a team exercise, get people's faces, get people's cameras turned on, so that you can see everyone's faces, and so you feel connected during these times. I think the biggest challenge for employers right now is about staying connected, both with customers and also with your teams, because that human equity and that human capital is important, as much important as your customers. You should really place on that as well.
I think that's so true. And also, how do you see the next few months going for Urban? I mean, do you think business will pick up? How do you see it playing out?
So there's two tracks that we're working on at the moment. So first and most important is that we're helping and finding ways that we can have a continuation plan for the majority, or if not all, of the practitioners that we work with today, which runs into thousands, about 4,000 of them in total in the UK and France. That's the first priority for us. And the second is, and in response to that, we've launched through our apps and our websites various different digital offerings, from sort of live yoga sessions to live personal training, physio consultation, osteo consultations, and also meditation and mindfulness. So we've got all of those rooms set up and all those digital sessions all up and running, and we're seeing some really good traction already. We've seen over 100% week on week growth, which is really, really exciting for both in supporting our practitioner community as well as for the business. The second thing is that we've launched Urban X, which is what I mentioned briefly. It's a software that we've launched to enable businesses that want to also go online and monetize on their services. A lot of businesses have gone online immediately to like IGTV, so Instagram TV and YouTube Live, and that's all great. But then it's very difficult to monetize that as a genuine source of income for you and for your business. And so Urban X is designed in a way that you can provide that service to your customers, but still be able to charge for those appointments or charge for a ticket to join a session. So that's what we've done. And I think, for us, at least for the foreseeable future, that's going to be our core focus in supporting our practitioner community and supporting other businesses that have a service to offer digitally. And that for us is the most important thing. And our philosophy is that we support the community, we support the industry and the ecosystem, and in return, that's how we, as a company, as a technology company, will make money. And that's how we will continue to drive forward. And we don't know when Corona is going to end, but when it does end, I do think that the Urban 2.0, the version 2 of Urban at the end of this, is going to be completely different to the business that we have, had coming into Corona. We were only a physical service delivery platform, for one-to-one services in the offline world. But I think the world where we will come into will be urban, that will exist both digitally and both from a virtual basis as well.
Do you think that will be the future for a lot of beauty businesses, that actually when we're at the end of coronavirus, a lot of businesses that were mainly bricks and mortar hands-on will be incorporating more digital services in general anyway, going forward?
I believe so. I believe the world that we're going to come into is going to be one that is very much used to doing things online now, and conducting business, delivering services through a webcam. And I think this is just the evolution, and that we as a very modern society have adapted to circumstances like this. But I think the silver lining to all of this is that for businesses that are catering for its community, for its high street, will start adapting to a way that they may start becoming global businesses. Imagine if you are the best in your trade for a particular skill or particular service, and you've created amazing global and Instagram following online, and your followers runs into thousands and thousands of followers around the world. Imagine the circumstances that we're in and forced into. We are delivering services digitally, right? And so you can start actually catering for a global audience, an audience that extend way beyond the town or the high street that you exist today. And I think that's a silver lining to all of this. And for us as well, I think I'll give you some examples here, is that, we've delivered a lot of digital services now outside of the service areas that we operate today. So in the past, we would say, sorry, we can't deliver your service because we can't go that far, right, from where you are. But now they're able to use Urban as a service and to tap into the self-employed practitioners that exist in our platform. And equally, we've seen, cross-border transactions as well. We've seen, in our French business, we've seen some customers from, other French-speaking countries have been booking services, from Paris. And so,
Wow.
imagine your business and you catering for, customers and fans of your business that that doesn't live within the vicinity of your salon. I think that's a really exciting, idea and concept. So I think definitely spend the time in isolation now, innovating and thinking about how you could drive your business, adapt your business, because the ones that adapt the fastest and adapts the best will ultimately be the ones that can be the beneficiary of, a lot of business, at the end of this as well.
Jack, that was brilliant. So, I mean, you've given us so much information on how, beauty businesses can really use technology at the moment to try and enhance their services and to get through this really challenging time. If anybody who's watching has any questions for Jack, just post them in the comment box on YouTube and I'll put them forward to him. But we have had a couple come through already, so I'll just run them by you. The first question, Jack, is how do I decide what my online prices should be if I'm used to offering similar services in salon? What's a fair proportion to charge?
I think, it's a tricky one because, if you look at it as time and time translating to money. So ask yourself the question, how much, what was the per minute or per hour charge you were charging when delivering a physical service? So whether it's going to be, a nail treatment, if that was a 45-minute treatment, how did you price that? Was there some sort of consistency throughout your whole menu offering? Because if there is, then you can then translate that in a digital offering. There is no reason why you should discount that in any way. We did a very similar thing. We for the digital fitness and yoga, we saw that, we firstly started off with, okay, what was the per minute fee? And then we then say, okay, well, what's the current offering that we deliver? Is it better or worse? Or is it comparable to the customer's experience and expectations? If it was, then there was no fee changes. But if there were, then we say, okay, what would be a reasonable rate? And how did that compare to other competitive offerings out there? The alternatives that customers can get. And so then it's about that balance. But I would start off with that per minute fee, because that will give you a really good benchmark of whether that you can then adjust, upwards or downwards. And then it's really a case of, the market forces, what are your other competitors doing? How much do you think that's worth, and so on.
We've had another question. Have Urban seen a big difference in terms of when their customers are booking classes for? For example, have you seen a difference in the times that people would previously book classes with you to now? So are people still trying to keep that regular routine of doing workouts and sessions at lunchtime and sort of pre-post work? Or are you finding that you're picking up services throughout the day?
So in terms of local to local services, local practitioners to local customers, we're seeing a very similar pattern of behavior in terms of the morning session. Then there is, the peaks during after working hours and also weekends. So I think, generally speaking, that behavior is still sticking with the consumers. And naturally as well, people are still working, but just from home. But what we're seeing, as I say like earlier, that imagine your business can go beyond your high street, beyond your community, and extending into other countries or other time zones. There is no reason why you can't advertise your services on sort of global directories or global platforms, and to advertise yourselves as available. And so therefore, you may start kind of seeing, maybe if you're quite tactical in doing this, you might be able to fill your diary up by, in during the daytime when people are working in the UK, with customers who are coming into their evenings, with time zones ahead of us, maybe like 5-6 hours ahead of us, Middle East, Asia. other sort of English speaking markets in those geographies, you can start catering for them as well. So think of that opportunity as an upside to what you're doing today.
And another question is just about when we do all return to salon, should the price for these online beauty services change? How do you price them when everyone's back to normal, back in bricks and mortar?
I would price it in a way that should be something that's sustainable in the long run. And that's why I go back to the reference of like, what's that per minute charge, and price it that way. And then if you wanted to encourage more customers to use it during the coronavirus period because the business is not as busy as before and you have more time on your hands, then offer a limited discount. So only offer a limited discount. So then the consumers are not trained to then think that your price is, X or a lowered rate. So price it as like, say if it's a £30 per hour session, price it at £30 and then offer a coronavirus period discount of say £10. And so there's £20 for the customers that are paying between that when you're not very busy today. But once you come out of Corona, that offer expires, right? And so therefore the consumer expectation is not, misaligned when you come out of the period.
And Jack, just to let you know, we've had a message from Sheila Boyce, and she said, "Thanks, Jack. I'm one of your therapists. Really inspiring and thought-provoking words." So that's lovely.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Sheila.
But Jack, I think that's all that we've got time for today. Thank you so much. You've just given us really valuable information that people can apply in their businesses to hopefully help them through this really difficult time. If anybody else does have any other questions for Jack, just message us on social media, DM us, whatever you need to, and we'll try and pass them on and see if he can answer them. But otherwise, thank you so much, Jack. That was amazing. And for anybody else watching, we have a stellar lineup for the rest of the day, so make sure to tune into the other sessions. Thank you so much, Jack. See you later. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Stay strong and healthy.